I'm out in the field today, literally a hockey field, photographing and videoing magpies. Now I've been coming out here for the last 3 months or so, and there's a flock of magpies that are just easy to photograph because all they do is just eat. So these are birds that have been kicked out of the nest from the previous season. So there's lots of juvenile birds, as you can see with the grey and brown feathers here. And there's a few adult birds here. There's a few adult males here, you can see with the darker plumage here. And it's quite funny to see the characteristics and the personalities of these birds. The smaller juvenile ones always follow around these sort of, I guess, like the high school seniors here, the big brothers. They follow them around and try and get fed by them, and, you know, just pretty much trail behind them and see the stuff that they've been eating, which is very funny. Because they are juvenile birds, they're easier to photograph because they're quite curious, and so they do come up to the camera. So I let them come to me. I don't lure them in. It's just their own curiosity that seems to bring them to me, which is pretty cool. So the equipment I'm using to shoot these birds is my trusty Nikon Z9, the Nikon 180-600, a Benro gimbal head, and this weird frying pan looking thing is a ground pod. So all it is just a bit of plastic with a screw on it that I can put the gimbal head on. Because these birds are so curious, I can't focus when they come up so close, so I've been using my Nikon Z8 with a 50mm lens, and that seems to be enough to capture any close-up shots. So early morning is generally the feeding time. So I am lying in sort of a mixture of sand and grass here, and I can just see sandflies as far as the eye can see. Now this seems to be breakfast for these birds out here, and they seem to enjoy it a whole bunch. So it's coming into September now, so it's a bit warmer. So magpies, I think, biologically get a little bit toey in the warmer spring weeks because they defend their territory and that sort of thing. But these birds, because they're so young, they don't have their own territory yet, so they sort of stay in this group of about 20 birds and sort of learn everything they can from the older birds and the little play fights that they do. So these birds here, these young juvenile ones, they have play fights. Now, if you look straight away at a bird attacking another bird, it looks pretty hardcore and pretty ruthless, but in reality, they're just having a little game, which is pretty funny to see. So usually it's an older bird and a juvenile bird, and the juvenile bird will come up and sort of, like a dog does, where they sort of creep up to them and then flip over on their back and expose their belly. Now I thought when I first saw this was like a pecking order sort of thing, so the younger bird would come up to the older bird and say, hey look, you're in charge, that sort of thing. But watching them more often over these months, it's both birds do it. So the younger bird will come up, cower down, flip over on its back, and then the older bird will flip over on its back too, and then they're just sort of trying to peck each other around their back. So it shows that it's not a pecking order thing, it's more of a enjoyment, like play, which is the enjoyment that these birds get out of it is so cool to see, and it's actually quite funny, the playful little antics they get from. So it's been keeping me amused on these early mornings here. Another juvenile bird here. Look how clunky his feathers are. Oh look, that was a bit hard. So he's found something in the grass. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. So he's keeping an eye on me. So the thing that I've seen with magpies is that they always remember a face, and they always try to identify things front on. So a lot of the time these birds are quite curious because I'm a doofus that's lying down in grass that they don't usually see every day. So they are trying to work out what and who I am, but they always look at you right down the face, like right eye to eye. Oh, that grass is cold. So I'm just going to take some photos of this scraggly old one here. Oh, probably a young one, but the feathers are a bit yucky. It's pretty cool because we have some sort of sandflies zooming around him at the same time. What I might do is try and find, generally I'm looking for cues here for play fights. So what I'm looking here for is two magpies together, usually an older one and a juvenile one. It's probably still a little bit, it's still breakfast time, so they usually eat for about an hour. So I'm probably going to about another half an hour until 8 o'clock, which seems to be playtime. When I say playtime after breakfast, it's like if you feed a pet, feed a dog, the moment they got a full belly, they want to go stupid, and magpies are no different. The amount of times I've watched them have something to eat, chow down for an hour, and then the moment it hits 8 o'clock, you know, the play fights begin. So I'm on the lookout of two magpies, after an adult magpie and a juvenile magpie. The juvenile magpies follow around the adult ones, and they sort of, that's where the cowering down and the play fights and the, you know, the belly pecks begin. But I'm just after a pair of magpies. I can't really see any at the moment, but I might move closer. There's a group of them feeding over there, so I might move over there to see what I can get. Okay, let's go. Okay, we got an adult here. Got a bird right next to me. Watching, always watching. But I'm gonna, okay, there's an adult and a juvenile here. I think they're two juveniles, yeah, two juveniles. Oh, we got the cues, got the play cues here, okay. Look at him come up. Oh, yeah. So good. But it seems to be for fun. And then off they go. So cool. You can't not smile and laugh at that. It's just playfulness. Shows a level of intelligence and joy in just being silly. Oh, so good. And to see it, so good. All right. I think I might call it a day. It's getting really, really hot. There's ground shimmer coming out, which makes it really hard to shoot so low, and the camera has a bit of a challenge shooting through that sort of distortion, so there's no real point of trying to force anything through it. Plus I was lying in bird poo, so I'm covered in fresh magpie doo-doo. I've got it on the camera, got it all over it, so I think it's probably a good time to call it quits for today. So I'll be back probably another day, maybe tomorrow. Let's see how these little guys are tracking. If not, I think I've got everything I needed over these past couple of months, and this might be it. The next shot I want to get is a point of view of a swooping. So this means I'll have to ride my bike past a magpie nest and hopefully get my bike helmet attacked. To find the best locations, I've been using a site called magpiealert.com to find where there have been any attacks near me. These are all the attacks in Australia this year alone, to give you an idea of how aggressive magpies get during spring. The yellow icons are just your everyday attack, but these red ones are where someone was injured during a vicious swooping. So I've just found a nest and a magpie that has swooped cyclists in the last couple of weeks. So now I have a 10-kilometre bike ride ahead of me just to get attacked by a wild bird. Hate riding on the road. So anyway, coming up to the swooping area. Okay, see one on the power lines there. I think this will be it. I don't want to get swooped. I don't want to get swooped, but I think I'm going to get swooped. Oop, here we go. All right, well that's done. That's really stressful. It's a 45-minute bike ride for about 10 seconds of terror. All right. Now, after photographing these birds over these last couple of months, I started to get magpies on the brain. Everywhere I looked, I saw a magpie. On power lines, on fences, every tree had a magpie in it. Every bird call I heard was a magpie yodel. But I had an absolute blast spending all of my time with the same species of bird. To see their personalities, behaviours and eccentricities over this time was really fun. And looking back at all of this footage has had me chuckling away. I honestly recommend doing this if you're a bird photographer, just spending all of your time with the one type of bird. I guarantee you will thoroughly enjoy it. If you want to watch my short film about magpies, please have a look here. It was so much fun putting this together, and I'd love for you to have a watch. As usual, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. So thank you for giving me your time. Cheers.